Hello and welcome. In this video we will talk about Jonestown. We hope you will enjoy. Don't forget to like and subscribe. The People's Temple, also known as the People's Temple Agricultural Project or simply Jonestown, was a religious cult led by Jim Jones that was active in the 1970s. Jones was a charismatic leader who preached a mix of Christianity, socialism, and racial equality. He attracted a large following of mostly poor and working-class people, many of whom were African American. In the mid-1970s, Jones moved his followers to Guyana, where he established the commune of Jonestown. The commune was isolated and controlled by Jones, who ruled with an iron fist. He preached that Jonestown was the only safe place in the world and that the outside world was hostile and dangerous. He also convinced his followers that there was a government conspiracy to destroy them and that they needed to be prepared for an armed conflict. Life in Jonestown was harsh and disciplined. Jones controlled every aspect of his followers' lives, including their food, clothing, and housing. He also controlled their minds through a combination of brainwashing techniques, such as sleep deprivation and sensory deprivation, and the use of drugs, such as Valium and chloral hydrate. The situation in Jonestown began to unravel in 1977, when a group of concerned family members and former members of the People's Temple began to speak out against Jones and his cult. In November of that year, U.S. Congressman Leo Ryan visited Jonestown to investigate the allegations of abuse and mistreatment. While he was there, a group of Jones followers attempted to assassinate Ryan and several others, including several members of the press. Ryan was killed, along with 4 others, and 9 others were injured in the attack. Jones, fearing that the outside world would now come to destroy Jonestown, ordered his followers to commit revolutionary suicide by drinking cyanide-laced punch. Over 900 people died, including over 300 children. The tragedy at Jonestown remains one of the worst mass deaths in American history, and it is still not entirely clear what motivated Jones and his followers to commit such a horrific act. Some have suggested that Jones was suffering from mental illness or that he was a megalomaniac who was unable to handle the stress of leading a large and increasingly unstable cult. Others have suggested that the tragedy was the result of a perfect storm of factors, including poverty, racism, and the search for a better life. In the end, Jones led his followers to their deaths, leaving behind a legacy of tragedy and heartache. The story of the People's Temple in Jonestown serves as a stark reminder of the dangers of cults and the importance of critical thinking and skepticism in the face of charismatic leaders. Jim Jones, the founder and leader of People's Temple and later, Jonestown, was a charismatic leader who used a variety of tactics to attract and retain members. One of the most significant factors in his ability to attract followers was his message of social justice and equality. Jones preached a message of racial and economic equality, which resonated deeply with many people in the 1960s and 1970s, particularly those from marginalized communities. In addition to his message, Jones was a skilled orator and had a powerful stage presence. He was known for his impassioned speeches, which were often filled with religious rhetoric and appeals to emotion. Many people were drawn in by his powerful speaking style and felt a sense of connection to him as a leader. Jones also utilized a variety of mind control techniques to keep members under his control. These included sleep deprivation, food deprivation, and other forms of psychological manipulation. He also used a system of rewards and punishments to control the behavior of his followers, and many people felt that they had no choice but to stay within the group. Jones was also known for his ability to create a sense of community and belonging among his followers. People's Temple was structured like a tight-knit family, and Jones emphasized the importance of supporting one another and working towards a common goal. This sense of community was especially attractive to people who felt isolated or disconnected from their families and communities. In summary, Jim Jones was able to attract and retain members through his message of social justice, his powerful oratory skills, his use of mind control techniques, and his ability to create a sense of community among his followers. However, it is important to note that Jones' methods were extreme and unethical, and the tragedy at Jonestown serves as a reminder of the dangers of blindly following a charismatic leader. After the mass murder-suicide at Jonestown, a few people managed to survive. The majority of the survivors were people who were not at the settlement when the event occurred, including members who had left before the tragedy or were away on errands, as well as a few individuals who managed to escape the scene during the event. The immediate aftermath for the survivors was a difficult one. Many had lost loved ones and were struggling to come to terms with the traumatic event. They also faced intense scrutiny from the media and government officials. Some survivors were initially met with mistrust and skepticism, as many people found it hard to believe that they had not known about the plans for the mass suicide. In the days and weeks that followed, many survivors were interviewed by the FBI and other government officials in an attempt to piece together what had happened. Some survivors chose to speak out about their experiences, while others chose to keep a low profile. For those who lost loved ones, the process of grieving was made all the more difficult by the fact that they were also dealing with the trauma of the event itself. For many survivors, the memories of Jonestown remained raw and painful for years to come. In the years that followed, some survivors chose to speak out about their experiences and advocate for changes in the way that cults and other groups are regulated. Others chose to keep a low profile and move on with their lives. Many of the survivors have formed a support group for each other and help each other to cope with the aftermath of the event. They also work to keep the memory of the victims alive, and to educate the public about the dangers of cults and other high-control groups. Overall, the survivors of the Jonestown massacre were deeply affected by the event, both emotionally and psychologically. They have had to come to terms with the loss of loved ones and the trauma of what happened. But through the years, they have shown remarkable resilience and determination to move forward with their lives. Thank you for watching this video. We hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to like and subscribe. See you soon.